Hey Grand Adventurers, welcome back. I'm your host, Mark Guido. It is a beautiful, peaceful morning here along Central California's Merced River. We're here to head today into Yosemite National Park, and we're bringing you along, so stay tuned. This episode of Grand Adventure is sponsored by etrailer.com, where you'll find thousands of products for RVing, towing, camping, outdoor recreation, vehicles, boating, and more. Click the link in the video description or scan the code on your screen to shop etrailer.com with Grand Adventure. Despite our RV travel to 49 states and 6 Canadian provinces, we've somehow never before made it to Yosemite. We've tried several times in the past, but wildfires and other occurrences and inconveniences have always vexed our plans. Until now. The most direct approach to Yosemite from California's Central Valley travels via the community of Mariposa and up over the Sierra foothills before following the Merced River. It's a beautiful drive, but twisty and narrow. Despite being planned for about 9 months, our visit happens to coincide with the U.S. federal government shutdown, so we're not entirely sure what to expect. With our schedule, however, we have only one full day to see as much of Yosemite as possible. With a storm forecast to roll in off the Pacific for Saturday, we've moved our Yosemite day up to Friday to enjoy the last day of decent weather in the park ahead of the storm. Yosemite National Park covers nearly 1,200 square miles, about the size of Rhode Island. Roughly 95% of the park is designated wilderness, and despite its size, most of Yosemite's 4 million annual visitors spend the majority of their time in Yosemite Valley's 7 square miles. So we're going to start our visit high above the valley rather than in it, a 25-mile drive up the Glacier Point Road. Yosemite's geology is characterized by granite and remnants of older rock. About 10 million years ago, the Sierra Nevada was uplifted and tilted to form its unique slopes, which increased the steepness of stream and riverbeds, forming deep, narrow canyons. About 1 million years ago, glaciers formed at higher elevations. They moved down slope, cutting and sculpting the U-shaped Yosemite Valley. Mere moments after turning out of Yosemite Valley onto Winona Road, which leads to Glacier Point Road, travelers arrive at the Wawona Tunnel, just outside the tunnel's east portal. Tunnel View offers iconic, expansive views of Yosemite Valley, making it one of the park's most renowned viewpoints. It was mere feet from here that artist Thomas Ayres drew the earliest known rendition of Yosemite Valley in 1855. Wawona Tunnel was bored through solid granite bedrock in 1933, shortening the trip to Yosemite from Fresno in Southern California by 40 miles. When it was finished, the Wawona Tunnel was the longest automobile tunnel in the world and remains the longest highway tunnel in California at 4,233 feet. Yosemite was critical to the development of the concept of national parks. Galen Clark and others lobbied to protect Yosemite Valley from development, ultimately leading to President Abraham Lincoln's signing of the Yosemite Grant of 1864 that declared Yosemite as federally preserved land. This is the first time land was set aside specifically for preservation and public use by the U.S. government, and set a precedent for the 1872 creation of Yellowstone National Park, the nation's first. In 1890, environmentalist John Muir led a successful movement to motivate Congress to establish Yosemite Valley and its surrounding areas as a national park. The route to Glacier Point rises from the valley floor at 3,900 feet to 7,400 feet above sea level near Badger Pass, home to the only ski area within a U.S. national park. Although the temperature is about 60 degrees today in late October, there remain remnants of last week's high elevation Sierra snowfall. The word Yosemite historically referred to the name that the Miwok gave to the Ah-wah-nee-chee, the only resident indigenous tribe, and translates to "they are killers." The conflict in Yosemite between natives and European settlers, which is known as the Mariposa War, ultimately defeated the Ah-wah-nee-chee in 1851. The first tourists to visit Yosemite were entrepreneur James Mason Hutchings, artist Thomas Ayres, and two others in 1855. Hutchings and Ayres were responsible for much of Yosemite's earliest publicity, writing articles and special issues about the valley that increased tourism to Yosemite. Yosemite's first concession was established in 1884, when John Degnan and his wife established a bakery and store. In 1916, the National Park Service granted a 20-year concession to the Desmond Park Service Company, which bought out or built hotels, stores, camps, a dairy, a garage, and other park facilities. From Glacier Point at 7,200 feet, one can look straight down at the Yosemite Valley 3,200 feet below. If this view doesn't give you vertigo, nothing will. Views from here encompass many of Yosemite Valley's most notable features, including Yosemite Falls and Half Dome, which rises 4,800 feet above the valley floor. We'll get down into Yosemite Valley below, check out our campground, and visit a couple of the surrounding communities right after a brief message from our valued video sponsor, eTrailer. Whether you need products for your RV, boat, trailer, vehicle, hunting and fishing, off-roading, and more, our video sponsor eTrailer has you covered. Best of all, you'll find over 100 US-based enthusiast customer service reps ready to help via phone, chat, or email, both before and after the sale. These folks have used themselves the products that you're shopping for, and you won't find a more knowledgeable team anywhere to help you with your outdoor project. Click the link in the video description or scan the code on your screen to shop etrailer.com with Grand Adventure. It's difficult to capture the famed El Capitan entirely in a single video clip from its nearby eponymous meadow. This granite monolith, named by the Mariposa Battalion in 1851, is about 3,000 feet from summit to base along its tallest face. This massive cliff is composed almost entirely of the same pale, coarse-grained granite, approximately 100 million years old, that forms most of the rock features of the western portions of Yosemite Valley. It's a world-famous location for multi-day big wall climbing, including Alex Honnold's famous free solo ascent of the wall in only 3 hours and 56 minutes in 2017. Yosemite Falls is the park's highest waterfall, dropping a jaw-dropping 2,425 feet from the top of the upper fall through the rarely seen middle falls to the base of the lower fall. It's a major attraction in the park, especially in late spring when the water flow is at its peak, but it's nevertheless awe-inspiring during the reduced flow of our late autumn visit. There's little convenient parking near Yosemite Falls, so we've parked near Sentinel Bridge, and I'm going to take a mile-long walk to reach the lower falls. En route, I'm treated to a stunning view of Half Dome. One side of this quartz monzonite batholith that stands over 8,800 feet above sea level is a sheer face cut in half by erosion, while the other 3 sides are smooth and round, making it appear like a dome cut in half. Thousands of hikers reach the top each year by following an 8.5-mile trail from the valley floor, aided by a pair of steel cables installed close to the route pioneered by George Anderson in 1875. John Muir was a Scottish-born American naturalist and explorer, whose leadership ensured that many national parks were left untouched, including Yosemite. Muir and his Sierra Club wrote articles popularizing the area and increasing scientific interest in it. Muir was one of the first to theorize that the major landforms in Yosemite Valley were created by alpine glaciers, bucking the opinions of established scientists such as Josiah Whitney. Even after the creation of Yosemite National Park in 1890, the state of California retained control of Yosemite Valley. In May 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt camped with Muir near Glacier Point for 3 days. And on that trip, Muir convinced Roosevelt to take control of Yosemite away from California and return it to the federal government. It was right here, on the very spot from which I'm filming, that John Muir built a cabin in 1869 that he called home for 2 years. This viewpoint of the final 320-foot drop of the lower fall provides the most used viewing point. Here, Yosemite Creek emerges from the base of the lower fall and flows into the Merced River nearby. The main village of the native people of Yosemite Valley, the Ahwahneechee, was located at the base of the falls. The Ahwahneechee people called the waterfall Shalak, meaning the fall, and believed that the plunge pool at its base was inhabited by the spirits of several witches, called the Peloti. Remember those views from Glacier Point? That's it, way up there. On my mile-long walk back to the truck, I've detoured into Yosemite Village. It's here that I'm only now seeing the first evidence of the government shutdown. While the park's concessionaires remain open, government-operated facilities such as the park's Welcome Center and Exploration Center remain closed. We had a reservation to camp for the week in Yosemite's Upper Pines Campground, the only RV campground that remains open past early October. I made the reservation when I saw that the site accommodated RVs up to 35 feet. However, after only later noticing that trailers had a smaller restriction of 24 feet, with much disappointment I canceled that reservation. News reports have indicated that squatters have taken over paid and reserved campsites in the national park during the government shutdown, but I'm not sure how that could be happening at Upper Pines, for campground staffers are still manning the booth at the campground entrance to check for reservations. As the sun is going down on our day in Yosemite, the first high clouds of the predicted Pacific storm are beginning to roll in. We'll check out our alternative campground selection and visit the historic nearby mining communities of Mariposa and Coulterville right after we take a quick ad break to pay the bills. So stay tuned. With our national park campsite reservation canceled, we're staying at Bagby Recreation Area, a county-operated campground where after leaving Yosemite Valley, the Merced River enters man-made Lake McClure. It's a 47-mile drive from here to the entrance gate to the national park, and there are few options available for RV camping in between. Sites here vary by amenity and are priced accordingly. We're in what's designated a premium 50-amp water and electric site that costs $65 per night and includes a grill and ramada. This is California, after all. One thing that makes it almost worth that price is the fact that here in late October, we're the only folks in the campground. Behind our campsite, the water in Lake McClure is so low at this time of year that it's essentially only the Merced River down there, and not the lake. One important thing to note is that California Route 49, the only road that accesses Bagby Recreation Site, is absolutely crazy in either direction, from Moccasin to Mariposa. The road descends steeply into the canyon containing Lake McClure from either direction. Zero shoulder, 15-mile-per-hour curves, and drop-offs plunging thousands of feet make for a true white-knuckle drive with any type of RV. The charming community of Mariposa lies 14 miles south of our campsite on the route to Yosemite. Named for the monarch butterflies that overwinter here, it's now home to approximately 1,500 residents and serves as a gateway community to the national park. During the California Gold Rush, prospectors flocked to Mariposa for its rich mineral resources in streams and underground veins. Among them was John C. Fremont, Mariposa's most prominent resident, who leveraged his extensive mineral claims to achieve national prominence. Fremont discovered a 5-mile quartz vein producing hundreds of pounds of placer gold monthly. He became the first U.S. Senator from California and the inaugural Republican presidential candidate, significantly impacting both Mariposa and American politics during the 19th century's period of expansion. Mariposa has numerous museums and landmarks that highlight its mining history. Its proximity to Yosemite National Park also ensures that tourism plays a central role in supporting local businesses. Mariposa's historic courthouse, completed in 1854, still stands. In the other direction from our campground, 10 white-knuckle miles along California Route 49 to the north, is the tiny former mining community of Coulterville, settled in 1850 by George W. Coulter, for whom it is named. For a time, Coulter lived in a tent flying the American flag, prompting local Mexicans to call the place Banderita, Spanish for small flag. The Maxwell's Creek Post Office opened in 1852 and changed its name to Coulterville in 1853. The name Maxwell honors George Maxwell, with whom Coulter cast lots to determine the name of the town. Coulterville is registered as a California Historical Landmark. A large portion of the diminutive downtown was listed on the National Register of Historic Places as the Coulterville Main Street Historic District. We hope that you've enjoyed visiting Yosemite National Park with us. Now we're going to get packed up here and head clear across the state of California to the Central California coast. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. Understand it's extremely important to us that if you enjoyed this episode from Yosemite, please be sure to give us a huge thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, That's where you'll find the comment section, where we love to hear from you each and every week. So until next Wednesday from the Central California coast, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.